Making it last is all I care to do. You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life. We won't live in the past.
What are the steps to enhance one's self worth? Self worth, is it the same as self esteem? Self concept, is there a difference? That's what we're going to be unpacking in this episode of Making It Last. Welcome. I'm Noreen Dealey, and it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, with other people. We're with Coach J, Mr. J. He's a relationship coach, author, speaker, a betrayal trauma practitioner. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Noreen. It's a pleasure to be on.
Self-worth. We're going to talk about what are the steps to enhance one's self-worth. Is it the same thing as self-concept or self-esteem?
So, and unless you are a professional in the mental health field, there's really very little difference to even need to pay attention to. And depending on the mental health professional you ask, you're going to get a variant. But self-esteem is what you believe to the core, and self-worth is the same thing, but oftentimes it's also attached to outward stimuli. But again, it's so molecular that it's really not even worth distinguishing. The more important thing is, how do we increase or improve our self-esteem, our self-worth? One of the things that I say all the time is, one of the big foundations of our self-worth and our self-esteem is simply knowing who we are. So many people I see on social media all day long, somebody will say, how I will treat you with respect unless you treat me this way, and then I'll treat you the same way you treat me. And I'm like, well, then you don't know who you are. Because if you're going to treat people with respect, it doesn't really matter if they spit on the ground you work. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you ever tolerate that. But what I'm saying is, you're not a leaf in the ocean that, if the wind blows east, you turn around and blow east, and the wind blows west, you turn around and you blow west. No, you be kind because you're a kind person. You be nice because you're a nice person. You have integrity because you're a person of integrity. So number one, it's knowing yourself and continually getting to know yourself. Because I tell people all the time, we are far more than human beings. We're human evolvements. So we have to constantly get to know ourselves, which is also why if we're in relationships, we have to constantly build bridges to the person we're with to get to know the person that we're with. You're a different person today than you were 5 years ago. You're going to be a different person 5 years from now than you are today. You have to constantly get to know yourself. Now, how do you do that? You have a core value assessment. What are your core values? Your core value might be timeliness. It might be very important that people are on time. Your core value might be family. Your core value might be honesty. Whatever your core values are, you turn those into your boundaries. And so my boundaries is, whatever your core values are. Now, here's the deal with boundaries. Boundaries aren't for other people. Boundaries are like religion. They're not to change other people. They're to change you. So, for instance, you can have a boundary of whatever you want, and people around you can act any way they want. You're not the master of the universe. You're only the master of your own universe. Now, if somebody wants to step into your sacred circle, then they have to respect your boundaries. Other than that, people can do whatever they want. And this could be friends, neighbors, family members. They do whatever. But if they want to step into your sacred circle, they need to respect your boundaries, and you make your boundaries known and clear. All right, I'm going to stop there in case you have any.
No, you can go ahead. You can go ahead. Continue.
Okay. Now, one of the things that's important to know is that where we don't get our self-esteem from. We don't get our self-esteem on others' opinions. We don't get our self-worth based on our grades in school, especially because there's 9 different intelligences. So this is one of the things I said, because I work with teens also, and teens are like, all my friends are better at art, or all my friends are better at math, and I'll say, listen, if you take a monkey, an elephant, and a fish, and you say whoever climbs the tree the quickest will get an A, do you think the fish and the elephant are going to get an A? No.
Mm-mm.
And if you take a fish, a monkey, and an elephant and say whoever swims across the sea the quickest gets an A, do you think the elephant and the monkey are going to get an A? No. And if you take a big, huge tree and says the first person to knock it down gets an A, do you think a monkey or a fish are going to get an A? So the point is that school, we can't grade our self-esteem on grades. We have 9 different intelligences. Some people are very intelligent physically. Some people are very intelligent emotionally. Some people are very intelligent intellectually. I mean, so we can't take our grades and say I'm good because I'm an A student. Well, wonderful. That just tells me that, you know how to maybe memorize things and put it back on paper. That's about the gist of things. So self-esteem is not how many likes you get on social media. It's not how many people listen to you, how many followers you have. Self-esteem and self-worth should be all the things that are internal, not external.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. Before you continue though, but isn't it sad that to a large degree sometimes society points you in that direction? Well, especially I'm not in any way trying to trivialize the importance of school, but there is such an emphasis on making sure that they make the grades, so to speak, that they literally feel as if with the grades it means quote unquote I'm it.
Yeah, we slap titles on everything. I don't know how it is in Jamaica where you live, but here a lot of a man's worth is tied to his paycheck, and a lot of a woman's worth is she a stay-at-home mom? Well, you know what? That's not the society a lot of people live in, and their worth shouldn't be tied to that. So, that's why I have to say you got to know who you are. You got to know who you are, so you're not that leaf in the wind. One of and the other thing too I want to talk about is boundaries real quick. Not only do you have to know your boundaries, you have to enforce them. Because listen, just like kids, a parent's job is to increasingly enforce boundaries, and a kid's job is to increasingly push them away. Well, it's the same thing when we're adults. There's going to be all kinds of time in our lives, whether we're at the grocery store, whether we're at the gas station, whether we're at a party, even when we're around family, where people are going to want to stretch your boundaries. Now, there are times where you can compromise and negotiate your boundaries, but only if you're making a decision from a place of empowerment, not a place of fear. Hello, I am Coach Jay, and I am a relationship expert on betrayal. And I am speaking with Noreen Daly on Making It Last podcast. And we will be right back after the short break.
Making it last is all I care to do. You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life. We won't live in the past.
You can't live your best life without a healthy immune system. Boost your immune system the delicious way with Zappy's organic juices and punches. Made from local produce with zero added sugar, our juices cleanse and revitalize your body as they boost your natural immunity. Try our delicious flavors: Beat It, Berry Bomb, Get Fresh, Ton Up, and Island Splash. Find us on Instagram at Zappy's Organics, or call or send a WhatsApp message at 1-876-779-8910 to order today. That's 1-876-779-8910. Zappy's Organic Juices and Punches. Live your best life today.
Hello, my name is Nicky Mason, and I want to share with you my journey with Noreen Daly in my communication coaching sessions. As I went through the sessions with Noreen, I was able to recognize my strengths in communication. Some things I didn't recognize that I would do, she was able to unearth and allow me to recognize that these are some strengths that I had. I did have some weaknesses which I was challenged to overcome through research, reviewing other public speakers, and being able to sit before a camera and to speak to an audience, an invisible audience. It was fun, and as a coach, she was patient and she gave good feedback, and she was able to give me the insight into communication as to how to best use my skills, my natural communication strengths to be engaging as a speaker. And I would recommend anybody who seeks to become a more competent communicator to enroll in her program. Reach out to her, and I believe you're going to enjoy the journey as much as I did. Thanks.
Photography is an art, but more so, photography must come from the heart. Precious moments, priceless times. Take a pic and know it will turn out fine.
BMC Photography JA, beautiful moments captured. Let's go.
Making it last is all I care to do. You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life. We won't live in the past.
Welcome back, everybody, on Making It Last podcast with Noreen Daly. I am Coach Jay, and we're going to continue this conversation.
Mhm.
Having said that, you got to stick to your boundaries and enforce them, because I'll give you a perfect example. I was talking to this lady not too long ago, and she was like, Mr. J, I'm in my 50s. I'm dating. I have I tell everybody I have a very, very hard, fast rule. You are not to meet me at my house. I meet you at the restaurant. That's a boundary of mine. She was like, but the other day I was talking to this guy. He lives far away. I said, you know what? You live far away. Why don't you just come to my house and then we'll take a car to the restaurant? I figured whatever. So he came to my house. We went to a restaurant. We had a really nice meal, really nice conversation. But at the end of the night, after he kissed me, I thought that was it. And he kept kissing me. And then he kept kissing me. And she was like, okay, I thank you for the kiss. I'm good. But he was a little forceful and he kept kissing me. And I said, well, here's the deal. You taught him that your boundaries were negotiable.
Mhm.
When you tell somebody this is your boundary and then you're negotiable, you're teaching other people your boundaries are negotiable. So, make sure that not only do you know yourself, you know your core values, you know your boundaries, but you enforce them lovingly as well.
Hmm. 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 Love it. Love it. Continue.
All right. The other thing, too, with self-esteem is to always do things for other people. Always do things for other people. Listen, I lost a friend to suicide. As a matter of fact, I'm making a TikTok video right after this podcast about suicide and depression. And one of the things that we need to do is check in more often and specifically ask. Now, you might get other mental health professionals that would disagree with me. And that's fine. I know who I am. But one of the things that I wish I did was ask my friend, if you ever are on the verge of taking your life, promise me you're going to call me. I never said that. I never said that. Because had I have said that, had I have made him make that promise, he would still be with us today. I know that for a fact. Okay. So one of the things that we have to do is help others in need. And here's the other thing too, help others when they don't know it. I don't know, social media, there's a lot of times people will be like handing money to the homeless while they're taking a selfie. Well, wait a minute. Are you doing that for the homeless or are you doing that for yourself? So do something for somebody and they don't know it's you. Go drop a jar of peanut butter off to a neighbor who they're struggling financially and they can't afford food. And don't tell them it's from you. What that's going to do is that's going to make you feel like a good person. That's going to raise your self-esteem. That's going to raise your self-esteem, your self-worth. So do things for other people. Constantly do things for other people. Not only compliment other people, but when somebody compliments you, do not degrade yourself. Do not say, oh, your shirt's nice. No, I bought it at the garage sale for 50 cents. No, you perk your chest up. Thank you. Period. That's all. So there's just many things to do. I'll tell you, even if you are around the house in shorts or pajamas, put on some dress shoes. Man, you will feel like you're walk in the runway. I don't care if you got curlers on, pajamas, no makeup, and you don't even have your teeth in. Put on some dress shoes. You'll walk like you're, Milan or in Italy. So there's just little things that you can do. Even if you can spend 10 minutes trying to clean up your house. So many times when you walk into a nice, clean house, man, you breathe. You feel good. So there's just many things that you can do internally, externally. That's your self-worth. But no matter what you do, let it be from a place of empowerment. I'll tell you something. When my family gets married, I sing too. When my family gets married, I'll tell them, listen, if you need anything from a singer to somebody scrubbing the toilet seats at the reception hall or the church, you let me know. And I'm just as thrilled doing both. Because I know who I am, I know whose I am, I know my self-worth, and I know that I'm helping somebody, and that's all I need to know. So it's knowing who you are to the core. And I'll tell you, Eleanor Roosevelt once said, nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. So people can say all kinds of things to you. It's a human being. And 9 times out of 10, when people say nasty things to you, it's really because there's some type of jealousy in there. So why even bother with a response other than, God bless you, moving on.
My final question to you was going to be, what do you do? But you basically answered it. What do you do? Because I think a lot of times people think that, yes, you're out there, you're relationship coach, but I'm sure there are things that you do also to ensure that you are as that you feel a certain level of self-worth and self-confidence as well. So I think sometimes people assume that because you help people with this, that you don't have moments yourself where you need help also.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something. I know that I am very self-confident. Now, there's a difference. I am not cocky. I'm not cocky, but I am confident. And the reason that is, well, number one, if you take it from a scientific perspective, do you know that there's only a 1 in 400 trillion possibility that you were born? Do you realize the scientific, astronomical, huge, the fact that you were born, there's never ever gonna be you. There's never ever gonna be another one of you. There never was you. You and you alone. You are it. That's it. You're everybody's legacy is their own. Number two, I'm also a person of deep faith. I have a very strong relationship in my creator. I don't, in whoever, I want to respect whoever's beliefs, but I have a strong belief in my creator, and I know that I am the apple of my creator's eye. I also know Romans 3:23, that we all fall short of, that we're all sinners. I get that, but I'm confident of that. And the other thing too, I want to say, I don't do things to impress others, which is now in the day and age, everybody likes to do that. I do things that impress me. The only person I need to impress is me and God. The only person that I need to do better than is who I was yesterday. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. There's a place in New York City. It's called the Apollo Theater in Queens, New York. And I was singing on stage one time there. And I don't even think I got 6 words out, and I was booed off stage. And as I was being escorted off stage, and this place was packed, I was being interviewed afterwards, and the guy said, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. How do you feel? I said, like $1 million. I wanted to sing on stage, and I sang on stage. You know the last person that was here singing on stage? Patti LaBelle. Period. I sang on the same stage Patti did. So why in the world would I set out to have a mission? I accomplished my goal. Period. I'm thrilled. So I didn't base my self-worth or nothing on the booze, or I based my self-worth on, I had a mission, I set out to a goal, I accomplished it. Mr. J, you rock.
Love it. Excellent notes to end on. Thank you so much, Coach J, for sharing.
Thank you.
This was Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, with other people. I'm Noreen Daly. Until next time.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life. We won't live in the past. friends for